What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the weekly comic roundup here from the Drop News, where we talk about and discuss some of the latest releases in the world of comics. Joining me again today, as always, is my good friend Andrew Lilly. How are you doing, man?
I'm great. Let's talk some comics today.
Yeah, I had a pretty. I really enjoyed every book that I picked up this week, I think. But gonna start things off with Aquaman. Haven't done that in a while, but Andrew, do you want to kind of let us know what's going on with this one? It's the start of a new arc.
Yeah.
So what's going on and how you liked it.
Sure. It's the second issue of this new Warhead arc, which introduces this new telepathic villain, Warhead, who has been essentially indoctrinating seemingly random people to, I don't know, cause mayhem, I guess, and start attacking Aquaman for whatever reason. I think it's a pretty interesting story so far. It's a really short arc. I think this next issue might be the last one.
Okay, I can see that though, kind of. With this kind of villain. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's been enjoyable. I really love Warhead's design. Let me pull it up real quick, but so yeah, it's a really Aquaman's still sort of rebuilding his relationship with the U.S. government, and of course now we've got this unknown, seemingly a military unit or some sort of experiment. He woke up from during the war, the war between Atlantis and the United States. So I'm kind of interested to see more about what Warhead's trying to achieve and why he's after Aquaman. I also it seems like the ending was really cool. I'll just kind of say a little bit about it. He kind of almost seems like he transports Aquaman into this like dream world, I guess, and there's just violence and it just almost looks like wars today. I guess you could say it looks like the Middle East or something, because
I mean, it just looks war-torn.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was trying to figure that out. I was like, are these current events, or
maybe it's a possible future he's showing him?
Yeah,
something. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. So I found that really interesting, and obviously it's probably a vision or something that he's stuck in his mind or something. But I found that pretty interesting. It is basically it's all about Aquaman. I mean, obviously you get that from a solo book, but characters like Mera, Merc, Tula, they kind of take a back seat to this arc so far.
They have like a page. I think.
Yeah, they're not in it much, which doesn't bother me too much. But just kind of, I was actually just talking about this. I'm ready for Mera to have a bigger part again, because she sat out most of the deluge. And now she's sitting this one out. So I kind of want to see Mera again. Luckily, it seems like the next arc she will have more of a role with the return of Deadwater.
I'm excited for that.
I am too, very excited. Art's by Scott Eaton. I think he's getting better with each issue he draws. I
loved the art.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying his art. So that was a plus. Really, really strong issue today, or this week, not today. What about you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was, like you said, a really strong single issue. I'm really interested to see, or to hopefully we learn a little bit more about Warhead's origin, kind of like where he came from and how he's exactly like he is. But yeah, I agree with you. His character design is awesome too. And then, it's just a strong read, and I enjoyed it. But I definitely recommend picking it up. But staying with DC, Batman number 17 also came out this week. And this one is part 2 of the I Am Bane arc. And so this one is basically just leading up to more of Bane. It takes place basically picks up right after the end of the last issue, where spoiler for kind of how that ended. Bane has incapacitated the Robins, Robin and Red Hood and Nightwing, and we don't really know like to what degree or how injured they were, but Bruce just found them in the Batcave, hanging. And so he's taken them to Superman's Fortress of Solitude and is kind of like, hey, they need to stay here for now, and I have to, deal with Bane. And so the rest of the issue is someone, I actually don't know this character's name, I didn't recognize him, but it's someone working for Bane, kind of kidnapping and taking some of Batman's allies. And then we also get Alfred breaking into Arkham with Gotham Girl to do her like rehabilitation with the Psycho Pirate.
Mm-hmm.
And so don't want to really talk too much more than that because it gets a little bit spoilery towards the end, but I think that Tom King has done a really good job. I saw you say this too, but making Bane really menacing. He's not in this issue a lot. He's in it at the very end and kind of has a little appearance, but it's really, really strong. And just how he's kind of taking apart Batman and kind of getting to Batman, I really enjoyed. And then, yeah, I just thought it was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I thought this issue was really strong. That last page was just fantastic. Won't spoil it too much, but like you said, Bane doesn't show up too much in the issue, but you always feel his presence in the issue, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And so when you actually do see him towards the end, he's just terrifying, and it's fantastic. But yeah, basically everything you said, it looks good. I'm excited. This is like the most I've been into this book so far with this story. With I Am Bane, I think this might, if it keeps going like this will probably be my favorite arc from King on Batman.
Nice, that's good to hear. I'm glad that you've been enjoying this book more and more as it's progressed.
Yeah. I was saying that you know me, I did not enjoy the first couple arcs. I didn't really start enjoying this book until number 14, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's still some things that bother me a little bit. Some of the dialogue still bothers me at times, but it seems like King is, getting a handle of it.
Yeah. I definitely have to agree. This arc has been the 2 issues are definitely a very strong start to this one.
Yeah, definitely.
Sticking with DC and even the Bat family, Nightwing number 15 came out this week as well. And this one is a Bloodhaven epilogue kind of to the last arc that we had. And this is basically the entire issue is about the relationship between him and the Defacer, she was the Defacer, a criminal that he had caught in his Robin days, but then recently helped out in the previous arc. And they kind of start a relationship, and it's over it jumps time between 68 days and 30 days and a couple other dates in between. And so, and in each time jump you get interactions between Dick talking with Wally about the relationship, and then also with Red Hood and Jason, and then also with Batgirl. And so it's a really strong, there's not a whole lot of action in it. It's a very much relationship building issue, and then at the very end there's kind of sets up, I assume, what's going to be the next arc and kind of what happens with that. And so I really enjoyed this. I honestly think that I liked this issue more than most of the previous arc. I didn't really like the first half of it, but of the last arc, but this was a really strong issue, I thought. Not a whole lot of action, so if you're looking for that, then you'll be kind of missing on that. There's a little bit of an action sequence with Starfire, actually. He talks to her too at one point, so she shows up in this one. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a really strong issue. Art by, the name's escaping me, let me look, Jung. And so yeah, I thought it was really solid, and yeah, I'd recommend picking it up if you are a Nightwing fan, but yeah.
Nice.
And then hopping over to Marvel, Captain America, Steve Rogers, I don't know.
11.
Number 11 came out this week, so how was that one?
Really good. There was a lot in this issue. So basically, everyone should probably know that Steve Rogers is Hydra by now. We're kind of inching our way closer to Secret Empire. Basically, just where this left off, Steve has been tasked with taking out Dr. Erskine, the guy who would give Steve Rogers his powers. And while this story is going on in the past, we're also kind of dealing with the death of Jack Flag, who Cap essentially killed in the first issue by pushing him out of an airplane.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yep.
I read that.
Oh, well, sorry. There's a spoiler, I guess, for you. I know you're not caught up, but sorry. Yeah, and so the big thing about this issue was Steve trying to talk to Baron Zemo, because in the past they're like best friends, and which makes it really interesting, because it seems like Baron Zemo doesn't know this. So I'm just wondering, is this just Steve's memories, or did Kobik actually rewrite reality, or just Steve's memories? Because it seemed like Baron Zemo had no idea what he was talking about for a while. So we've got that. And then Steve is still talking about the whole deal with Carol, and she's building her super shield that goes around the Earth. So that's another plot point. And then another big plot point is Taskmaster from I think the second or third issue fought Steve Rogers, and when he crashed the plane, he's able to find the footage of Steve saying "Hail Hydra." So now he's got the footage. So is he going to try blackmailing Steve, or is he going to sell the info? It's interesting. So yeah, this issue was jam-packed with a lot of things. And I didn't even mention everything, just the big things. And so it kind of starts leading towards Steve getting the super soldier serum, but it's no longer led by Erskine. Shield is able to apprehend one of Hydra's agents, Arnim Zola. So Zola is now in charge of Project Rebirth. So lots of interesting things happened in this issue.
Sounds like really that whole storyline is just really like escalated, and it just seems really. I wish that I was cut up for it. And Secret Empire seems like it's going to be really crazy.
Yeah, so. I'm so excited. I'm scared, but I'm excited because I was just listening, or I was just looking at some of the tweets that Nick Spencer was posting, saying that apparently our jaws are supposed to hit the floor with the free comic book day. And so I'm like, I really want this to come out now.
Yeah, definitely. But jumping back over to DC, the Wildstorm #1, it's a book returning to DC. It's been I don't know how long, but a long time.
Yeah.
And so I went into this pretty much blind. I don't really know much about Wildstorm or any of the characters involved. And it's kind of these two corporations, these tech companies kind of trying to control the world and also going at war. And it's basically a like combination of like conspiracy theories between paramilitary groups and like trying to control that. And so it's a really interesting take on that. And then it also kind of deals with like extraterrestrial and like alien stuff. And so it's just a really, I think, unique book, and it's I really enjoyed it. I don't want to talk like too much on it because there's a bunch of stuff that happens that I thought was really like interesting, and I'm glad that I didn't know going into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the second issue comes around, I'll definitely talk more on some of the key things that happens. But it's definitely it has me really, really interested to see where it goes and kind of what is going on between these two companies and the people involved with them also, and what they're working for, and kind of just what's happening. But yeah, I thought it was a really solid issue, and the art is by John Davis Hunt, and it's fantastic art I thought.
Nice.
And so yeah, I definitely recommend it if you're slightly interested or looking for a book like that. Yeah. Jumping back over to Marvel, Gamora number
3.
Yeah,
3.
I got it right this time.
Right,
Gamora number 3 came out this week. So how was that one?
Really good. I really enjoyed this book. Basically, Gamora is chasing down this the last essentially heir of the Badoon royal family, and she doesn't have to worry just about that. There's the planet that she's on has a few hours left before it's engulfed by the black hole that surrounds it. So it's kind of a little bit of a time sensitive mission for her. So she, this girl is also trying to find this. It's like some, I don't know, some fuel core or something that's supposed to be the only thing that'll have enough thrust to get them away from the pole of the singularity. So lots of interesting things happening in the issue, and then of course Gamora is still trying to kill this girl. So it's a really interesting book. I'm liking it a lot. The art is gorgeous, and yeah, it's nice to finally get a little insight into Gamora, just as a solo character. Yeah, I recommend it. It's a cool cosmic story, a good revenge tale, I suppose.
All right, that sounds awesome. I mean, I haven't really read any Gamora, and so that sounds like a pretty good book to start off with if you're new to the character.
Yeah.
But jumping back over to DC, Trinity number 6 came out this week. Yeah. And so I think I've understand and got what's going on with this arc finally with it. So full spoiler warning for, kind of the story if you haven't read it and are worried about it. But anyways, so I believe Mongol is trapped in this plant called the Black Mercury, or this thing. And so out of necessity, it creates his daughter to try to infiltrate and get the emotions from Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman somehow. But then Poison Ivy also has access to this plant, and she thinks like that's her daughter. And so it's Mongol takes over Superman's body and is trying to, get out and control the world. And then Poison Ivy is trying to get the child out because she wants her daughter to be in the real world, even though the daughter doesn't really exist because it's just part of the plant. Mm-hmm. So that's what's happening, I believe. I think I got it finally. But
yeah.
It was a really interesting, story. It was really cool how they used it to explore, the emotions and the Trinity's kind of backstories and, what drives them. And that's, I think, the really strong suit of this book is it's very emotionally driven. It's not a super, action heavy or, blockbuster Trinity book, which I'm really excited about because we don't get this too much between them three. Mm-hmm. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a solid, kind of finale to it, albeit overall, I think it's a little bit of a confusing story, a little bit convoluted, but I think that the emotional impact is still there. And so if you can kind of take that away from it, I think it's really good. And then the art on this issue, I believe, was Luke Pacino. Yeah. And so I enjoyed it. I thought it was solid art. But yeah, what did you think of it?
I thought it was enjoyable enough. It was a little underwhelming. Especially for Mongol, they kind of built him up so much, and then they didn't really do too much with him.
Yeah, that's true. But he didn't even really fight himself.
Yeah, he wasn't really much of a threat, I suppose. But I agree with you. It was a really confusing story for a while, but I do like how it's a very emotional driven book, instead of just all out action. Every issue. Those couple issues where they just dove into each character, Superman and then Batman and Wonder Woman, I really enjoyed those.
Those were fantastic.
Yeah. So that I really liked. We really got to see, and these characters are really starting to understand each other. Because they've been living through, Clark's his hope, Wonder Woman's loyalty, and Batman's guilt. So they're really starting to understand each other.
They feel for each other.
And feel for each other. So I thought that was a really cool take, especially since other books, Justice League. I'll just say, you don't really get those kind of character moments, and instead those kind of books kind of just rely on pure spectacle. So I enjoyed that about this book, but the ending was just a little underwhelming for me. Poison Ivy, her part was interesting, I guess. Kind of didn't do too much, but it's still fun to see her. Art was great. I love Lupacina's art. She's fantastic. Yeah, solid read.
Definitely. But hopping back over to Marvel, Daredevil number 17, right?
Yes.
Came out this week, and so how was that one?
It was really good. I've really been enjoying the Daredevil book for a while now. Probably ever since the Dark Arts arc began. So this is basically going to be the story that tells us why no one remembers Matt Murdock is Daredevil.
Okay, that's
so
a good premise.
Yeah, so it's a flashback issue, and it connects with the Wade Samney run, which is really cool, especially if you love that story. So Daredevil's living in San Francisco with his girlfriend, Kirsten McDuffie, and he's just, he wakes up one night and he just says he feels like he's missing something from his life, because he's both Daredevil, or he's Daredevil like 24/7 now that and he's like a celebrity because his identity has been exposed. So he doesn't have that secret life. He doesn't have law anymore because he can't be a lawyer and a superhero. So he's just saying, Tony Stark, he's Iron Man, and he has his company. Natasha is an Avenger, but she's also got her shield things. And he just says that he's missing something. So, and the issue just kind of goes on, and he realizes that he can't help people like he used to if people know he's Daredevil. So he's looking for avenues to explore of how to reset that, and how he can make Daredevil and Matt Murdock two different people again. So it's a really interesting book. It's a really good setup. Art is great. It's fun to see Daredevil back in his classic red suit. But it was a really, really good issue. I definitely recommend it, especially if you like the Netflix Daredevil, because this series is definitely seemed more like the Bendis Brubaker run. So this is one of the books that I desperately need to get caught up on. I might do that today, honestly, after I edit this. But yeah, and the thing I really like about this that's been missing from this run are the supporting characters, like Kirsten from the Wade run, and even Foggy. And that's the one thing that I've really been missing from this run, because it's a lot of Daredevil by himself and his new sidekick, I guess, Blind Spot. So hopefully moving forward we get more Foggy. Maybe Kirsten comes back into his life. We'll see. But yeah, really good issue.
Awesome. And then jumping back over to DC for our last book of the week, Batwoman Rebirth number 1 came out this week, and so I thought this one was again an example of the Rebirth number 1's kind of doing what they do really well, and showing the backstory and getting you familiarized and knowing the character to set up the story. And this was really cool for me because I know a decent amount about her backstory, but this kind of gave me a little bit more, and also showed off the more relevant points that will be brought up obviously throughout this arc. And I really liked the way that they did the time jump between the different ages in her life, kind of showing off where she was at. But and then the direction that they're going at the end, the kind of twist, and I really want to know how we end up there, because it's kind of in the future and what's going to happen. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and the art, I don't remember the artist on this one.
Steve Epting.
Okay, yeah, but I loved the art on this issue. Thought it was really great, and I would definitely recommend it if you're a Batwoman fan or thinking of picking it up. But yeah, what did you think of it?
Agreed. It's a good introduction for people who don't know who Kate Kane is. The art was fantastic. I'm a huge Steve Epting fan, so having him on the book is just amazing. Uh, I'm familiar with Batwoman, so it was kind of just like a recap for me. So it wasn't anything special. The parts towards the end, kind of telling us where this book's going to go. Now that part was really exciting. I will say though that it might benefit new readers to read Detective Comics first, because there were a couple panels that I could see people being really lost in, especially the things that have to do with the colony and the monster men. So
yeah, definitely.
So if you're just jumping into Batwoman right now, you might be confused about those. But aside from that, I thought it was a good issue.
Yeah, I definitely
might check it out. Might continue reading this.
Yeah, as not knowing Batwoman as well, I think you definitely benefit more from this one, because like all the other Rebirth titles, it is like the Rebirth #1s. It is very much an introduction. So if you're already familiar with it, it's nothing really extremely new, except for, like you said, the very end. But yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes.
Definitely.
And I think that just about wraps it up for our list of books this week.
Yep.
As always, if there's any that we skim over and don't talk about and you want us to, please leave them down in the comments below. We'll attempt to add them to our pull list. We'll try. But I guess now we will plug where you can find us on social media. So where can people find you at, Andrew?
I'm on Twitter at Andrew Writer. Come on by, talk comics, talk Aquaman, movies, video games, whatever you want. I'm up for it.
Awesome. And then you can find me on Twitter at APBatman with 2 T's. And also the podcast that we record here from the Drop News should be up either today or tomorrow. Be sure to check that out. You can hear us on there talking about all the latest comic book movie news and, well, news in general. But thank you for listening as always. And, be sure to tune in next week. Later.